I've picked up some habits whilst living in Germany. Some good, some bad, but that's completely normal when you live in a country for more than 20 years. This video contains a collection of all habits, some of them that I've picked up and others which I found out whilst researching the content for this video. Naturally, if you think about any other habits whilst watching this video, I'm really interested to hear them. As I said, I've lived in Germany now for more than 20 years. When I moved here, I was 19 years old, I was young, I was reckless, I wanted to live away from my home, live away from my parents and be self-sufficient. It was a real eye-opener, especially at the age of 19 years old. It was another way of thinking, and one of the most important things is I couldn't understand a single word that anyone said to me. Even looking back on the first evening when I was in Germany, there were things that I actually hadn't thought about that I'd picked up. But whilst in the bar on that first evening with all of my new friends, I saw people do and say things that I thought were really weird. But now after researching this, I think, wait a minute, I do these things today. So without any further ado, let's move on to the first point. On the first evening that I arrived in Germany, I went to the bar with all of my new friends, and there's a tree trunk in the bar where everyone has a nail and there's a hammer, and you take turns hitting that nail into the tree trunk. And the person that sinks the nail the last is the person that then has to buy the round of beers or drinks for everyone. Now, there were lots of young girls and ladies there as well, and they would obviously not understand us, we wouldn't understand them, but occasionally they would do this in front of their face. They would wave their hand in front of their face. Now, we had no idea, or at least I had no idea what they were talking about, but later I found out that this means bala bala, which means it's like a little bit silly, a little bit crazy, bescheuert. And yeah, it's basically a signal to someone to say that's a little bit stupid what you're doing. Yes, we were all young and we were being a little bit stupid, so it was probably correct what they were doing. Now I find myself doing this today to people when driving a car or something and someone does something stupid, but you've got to be really careful about when you do this because some people can take a real big offence. So a bad habit that I have got since living here in Germany as a 19-year-old is staying out too late. And I mean sometimes literally staying out until the sun comes up once again. Now, I don't do it as much now, but I must say that over the past 20 years it has been a bad habit of staying out to the early hours on a Saturday morning, and then Saturday is just destroyed because you sleep until early afternoon and then you've got a hangover and then you just don't do anything on that Saturday. It costs a lot of money because you ended up staying out 3-4 hours longer, probably getting a taxi home and so on. So I would find that although it is nice to stay out till early hours of the morning in Germany, it does become a real bad habit if you do it too often. And also it kind of puts on the calories as well if you drink too much and eat too much at the evening time. A good habit that I've picked up here in Germany comes with a negative as well, is that the shops are closed on a Sunday and you aren't permitted really to do anything on a Sunday that kind of makes any noise or is anything to do with business or making money, anything like that. Sunday is a resting day, it's a quiet day in Germany. This has really allowed me to know that one day a week I just relax. I sit at home, watch television or go for a nice walk, do something, be it with photography or do some programming, talk to my family, enjoy the day with my son. It really has given me this nice one day in a week where I can really relax. Now, yes, you can relax on the other days, but Sunday is you can't do anything anyway, so just enjoy that day and rest. This next habit that I'm talking about has kind of evolved in my life over the past 20 years. When I first moved to Germany, I would always use cash. And now everywhere I go, I will always actively ask if I can pay with my EC card rather than using my cash. Since I've been doing this, I've been saving money so much faster because I'm not spending all of these random coins that I have in my pocket, and I'm maybe like giving more tips out or something, which is a good thing, but I'm spending so much more money. And now I could analyze how much I'm spending in my bank account. So a good habit that I have got now is saving more money, and a bad habit that I've removed is wasting my money on things that I just don't need. I don't really know whether that's to do with Germany, but Germans do like saving their money. They are very responsible, and my partner and I, we are very responsible in how we spend our money. So it could be a lot to do with her as well. A habit that I have got into now whilst being in Germany is recycling. Now, when I first got here, I didn't really care about throwing stuff in any bin whatsoever. But now over the past, say, 5 years, because of global warming and stuff like that, I really want to do my bit to know that the plastic, the paper, or any of the waste is going to the right place. What the government or the town does with that after it is not my problem, but I know at least that I am doing that one little bit to know that I am recycling. And to do with this, a good habit that I have now is when I do go to the shops, I don't take any paper bags with me, as in I don't buy any paper bags or plastic bags. I always take my rucksack or a shopping bag with me to put all of my groceries straight in. And I try and reduce the amount of plastic that I take out of that shop. Now, I know that this is very difficult today, but I know that I am at least doing my part for global warming to reduce the pollution. So it is a good habit, and I think it's a very good thing to do as well. Taking sick days, in my opinion, you should really go to the doctor to find out whether you're sick, and if you're not sick, you should go back to work. In Germany, it tends to be so easy for people to take a sick day. Now, you can take the first 2 days and just, I'm randomly sick. Then if you want to take the third day off, you've got to go to the doctors to get then a ticket to say you are sick. And then your insurances pay and whatever. That's another topic completely. But if you wake up in the morning in Germany and you feel, I just don't want to go to work because you've got a headache or something, it's super easy. You pick up the phone or you send a WhatsApp or send an email saying, I'm not coming into work today because I'm ill. Done. Finished. You don't have to do anything else than that. And you can stay at home for 2 days. On the third day, you've got to go to work. Unless you then go to the doctor and the doctor then gives you a yellow note that you can then take to your boss to say that the last 3 days you were actually ill. Now, it's more than likely if you do go to the doctors on the third day, you are still ill, and the doctor then will then give you, say, like a yellow note, a gelbe Schein, for say like 7 days or something, where you can have the whole week off. Ultimately, you only actually have to get this gelbe Schein for the third day on, and your boss then can accept it. In Germany, because of privacy and so on, they can't ask you what's wrong with you, why are you ill, why are you not coming in today. They've just got to accept it, and nearly all companies will accept it anyway. Now, this isn't a good habit, and I don't like this habit, and I've literally never used it just because. I have used it a couple of times where I've been under the weather and I didn't want then to get anyone else infected or anything like that. But due to my profession, I can work at home as well. So it was kind of like I was still working at home. But it's not a good habit to get into. And therefore, I think that more Germans should stop doing this. And maybe that you should have to go to the doctor on the first day because then you can prove that you are ill. Now, with the shops being closed on a Sunday, it's really important that you go shopping prior to the Sunday, otherwise you have no food. My partner and I, we do a big shop once a week, so we've got all of the vegetables and all of the items that we need in order to have all of our meals for the whole week. This is a really good habit that we've got into because it means that we've structured what we want to eat. We've also organised how much money we're going to spend per week on food. Because we plan our food, 1, we save money, 2, we've got a lot healthier. And 3, we save time because we don't have to go shopping all the time. And we know that Saturday we can concentrate on just quickly going to the food shopping, do the cleaning, and then we're done for the whole week. And we know we've got food in the fridge. Now, another good habit interlinked with this is when you go food shopping once a week, you know that you can't eat all of that food on one day. And you discipline yourself to know that I've done all my shopping on that one day, so I can't do anything else and I can't buy any food. Like I said, this saves money, but it also stops the pounds going on and your trousers getting a little bit tighter. The next habit is something that other countries really could adopt or look at to because it's something really worthwhile doing and it is good for the people. There are German laws protecting people when they live in their flat to make sure that when they move in, their rent can't change. And the landlord can't just wake up one day and go, I'm going to increase the rent by 10%. They can't throw you out. There's even laws based upon when and how they can throw you out. No one is permitted to be homeless in Germany. So Just knocking on the door to say to someone, hey, I've put the rent up by 20%. They go, I can't afford it. Good. Then you've got 3 months warning, you've got to get out. You can't do that. There are laws stating how much you can increase the rent by, and you definitely can't throw anyone out on the street. So this is a habit that other countries should adopt because it's fair, it's really good for the people, and you also know that you've got security at home, and that you know that how much money you have for this year is how much money you're going to have for next year, because your rent is not going to change. Now, my rent has not changed for years, and all of the flats that I've had, I've never once had a landlord coming to me and telling me that the rent has increased. And even the additional costs that you have to pay per month, they rarely change as well. I've never had a landlord once again who's come and said, you've got to pay more of this, this and this. Yes, at the end of the year, the actual costs might have changed based upon the town, but that's not your rent changing. That's the town changing how much the street costs are, and so on. But there we go. This is a really good habit that other politicians and other countries should adopt because it's fair for the people. So the next habit is something that I've picked up whilst researching this video, but I must admit I do think it's a little bit true, is the Germans tend to wear the clothes based upon what season it is rather than based upon what the weather is on that one day. Now, you'll go outside and you'll notice it's really sunny, it's a lovely weather, and it might be like autumn. Now, the people think autumn means like jacket, scarf, hat, gloves, you name it. And there'll be other people walking around like me, Englishman, wearing a t-shirt and shorts and shoes, and it will be lovely weather and you just enjoy it with sunglasses on. So maybe people could be a little bit more dynamic with the type of clothing that they wear. I don't want to pinpoint it on German people, but I must admit in Germany I see this happening all of the time. Another thing which I'm not sure whether or not other countries should adopt or they should avoid, but Germans love their bureaucracy. Now, you go into an office and you need a piece of paper stamped by this office to take it to the office next door, and they will then stamp it, give you another form to take back to this office. They will stamp it then to then go back to the other office and then give it to them. This happens all the time, and that is not an exaggerated example. This really happens. Now, in 2020, the system has got a little bit better because of what's happened this year. And you can find it, you can phone up, make an appointment, go there, and it happens a little bit faster. But Germans love their paperwork and they love their bureaucracy. Now, at times, yes, this does follow rules and it follows schedules, and it is very consistent of what you've got to do, and it makes sure that everyone's doing the same thing at the same time. But it can slow things down really badly. So I think that other countries and other institutions could learn from German good habits of being organized, but the Germans could also learn from the other good habits of other countries of being a little bit more dynamic. So I'm not sure which one of the two is correct here, but the Germans do love their bureaucracy, which I think is a little bit of a bad habit in Germany, because it's more like if it's not broken, don't fix it. Whereas other places in Germany are like, wait a minute, let's try and change the system right now and move forward. So maybe 2020 is this starting point for Germans to be a little bit less bureaucratic, which I am seeing right now. So there we go. German bureaucracy is a little bit of a bad habit on a whole in Germany. Now, I must admit, the next thing is another thing that German people tend to do, or I've noticed in Germany happening all the time in every company that I've ever worked for, even before I say anything to anyone, is that Germans at work, they only talk about work, and they don't tend to have like this friendly talk, you know, this small talk where they're like, oh, how are your family? What did your child do this weekend? I mean, most people at work, they don't tend to know what the name of the children are, of their work colleagues, or when their birthday is, or something like that. Now, there are companies that I have worked for where there's been small groups of people that go out at a weekend with each other and so on. But on a whole, the people tend to only talk about work, and they don't tend to talk about personal things. Germans are very formal anyway, and especially in the workplace. So you will find that there is this boundary between work and personal life. And I have had bosses that have said, keep your personal life at home and don't bring it to work. That's very true. But I think it's more like, don't bring your personal life problems to work, right? Keep them at home. You should bring your personality to work, but you shouldn't bring your problems to work. And for me, if I was ever like a business owner or something like that, I would make sure that I knew every single person's children's name, wife name, and so on. And I would have times where people should just sit down and talk with each other. So I think a good habit of British people, in my opinion, is that we are very friendly people and we always want to be able to interact with people on a very personal level. A bad habit in Germany, which I find on a whole, is that the Germans are very, very formal, and they should just chill it a little bit out and just talk to people like they're friends. Making friends in Germany is not an easy thing, and for that reason, Germans maybe should be a little bit more open to making friends with everyone. The one most important thing that I believe that you can never put a German down for, and it's always a good habit, is their punctuality. Now, if you come from a country where your friends are always late or you can never rely on anyone, German people you can always rely upon. So coming to Germany for a long time, make sure you are always on time. If someone says be there at 3 o'clock, they actually mean be there 5 minutes before, so you are there together at 3 o'clock. The German punctuality is really important thing, and especially in your workplace, don't be late for work. Now, 1 or 2 times might be fine, but after a while, your bosses might start giving you a warning. Don't be late anymore. It is a reason to fire you for being late. So there we go. That is the most important thing that I believe a good habit of German people is punctuality. And that's why I left it all the way to the end, because it's something that all people can learn from, the German punctuality. And if you do meet a German that's not punctual, then don't learn from them. Learn from someone else who is punctual, because it is just a form of respect to be on time for the other person. Punctuality is a great attribute that the German people have and the German system have, so it can only be a good thing. So there were a few other things, like people drive around in like recreational vehicles a bit more, and sitting down going to the toilet and stuff like that, which I didn't think really needed to come into this video. And also that Germans like drinking warm beer. I don't know whether that's a good habit or a bad habit. Yeah, so I left these things out. Now, there are many other things that German people do that is really good, and there are things that individual people do that aren't good whatsoever. If you're interested to see more videos that I do create, I'll leave a link in the video description below to my channel. And if you did like this video, then why don't you think about giving it a like? If you didn't like it, give it a dislike. But it would be really cool if you could actually write in the comment section the feedback about why you didn't like it, so I can learn from it. There are other videos that you can watch on my channel. So there'll be one on the screen right now, or more on the screen right now, of me recommending videos that you could watch. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. This now is the end. Take care, stay safe, and goodbye. And the coffee's finished. Right, so Borussia Dortmund versus... So it's Werder Bremen versus Borussia Dortmund this evening in the Bundesliga, the 12th game in the Bundesliga. Hopefully Dortmund does a little bit better than they did before. Blondie, curly fries, see you later.